To let you know that we are going to have 3 janazah after the prayer. So we're going to have to do salat al-janazah on 3 individuals, inshallah, right after the salah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له جل عن الشبيه والمثيل والكفء والنظير وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه وخليله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who knows what we reveal and knows what we conceal and even knows what the animals feel. We thank Him, we praise Him, and on Him we have reliance. It is to Him we only turn to for true guidance. We ask Him to send His peace, His blessings, His mercy on the best of human beings and prophets, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, on whom be praise until the very end of our days. And we ask Him for steadfastness, guidance, to accept our Ramadan and our prayers and our fasting, and to never lead us astray, and for Him to save us on Judgment Day. One of the greatest of scholars, Imam Ata rahimahullah ta'ala, and Imam al-Tamim and Imam al-Shafi'i rahimahullah, mentioned something very beautiful and powerful when it comes to some of the etiquettes in Islam. Imam al-Tamim, he said something beautiful. He said, if you want to perfect the art of being heard, then perfect the art of listening. If you want people to understand who you are, then understand where they're coming from. And Imam al-Shafi'i rahimahullah said that I could speak with anyone except that somebody who doesn't want to be heard. I could speak to anyone and I could have a conversation and a discussion and discourse except the ignorant. I could never beat him in an argument or debate. Why? Because the ignorant, what do they do? All they do is they have a response, a reaction. You aren't listening to me, I'm going to be heard, and that's a force. Whereas Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes something very beautiful about our faith and something that encompasses the attitude of the believers. And it is the crux of what He tied to as the reason why we have accepted faith in the first place. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ وَمِيثَاقَهُ الَّذِي وَاثَقَكُمْ بِهِ إِذْ قُلْتُمْ سَمِعْنَا وَأَطَعْنَا وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلِيمٌ بِذَاتِ الصُّدُورِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, remember Allah's blessings on you and the pledge with which you were bound, and you took this pledge of Islam. And you said, we hear and we obey. We heard you, O Allah. We were those who listened and we implemented it in action. Be mindful of Allah says, Allah has full knowledge of the secrets of the heart. The entirety of Islam is juxtaposed in this analogy of people who listened to the call of Allah. And they said, we obeyed your call, Ya Rabbil Alameen. We were people that are not neglectful of what you have said. We are not of those that turned away when we heard that call. And I want to share the story with you in a story that I recently heard from somebody. They said that I grew up as a cultural Muslim. My parents were what she considered conservative culturally, not religiously. The culture in itself is conservative, that's why they were conservative. Not because they knew too much about religion or faith or Islam, and that's what the parents taught. And she said that throughout our lives, we only had parents that would fast, and we struggled with our prayers. But over time, when you get older, she said they started to pray, but still I was never taught salah, I was never taught affinity to faith, I was never taught how to come close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She said until I went to university and I self-imposed Islam on myself. These are the words that she used. And she said I went and took an Introduction to Islam 101 course in the university to learn what Islam is and so that I can come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And she said, when we heard what Islam was, that's when I started to begin to pray and I started to embrace Islam from the beginning. I think a lot of us have this kind of relationship with our faith in our practice. Many of us have not had a in-depth, understanding, or we've studied and went through the practice of Islam as scholars or have gone through, but we simply heard the message of the Quran and we accepted it. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes here as the virtue of the believers. So when you're talking about the hallmark of what it means to be Muslim, it means to hear what Allah has said and you obeyed and you came to saying, Labbaik, here I am, Allah, I heed the calling. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that, O believers, obey Allah and His Messenger and don't turn away when you are listening to Him. Don't turn away when you are listening to Him. And He says, وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ قَالُوا سَمِعْنَا وَهُمْ لَا يَسْمَعُونَ. Do not be like those who say, we heard, though in fact they were not listening. And He says, the worst creatures in Allah's eyes are those who are willfully deaf and dumb, who do not reason. If Allah had known that there was any good in them, He would have made them hear. But even if He had, they would still have turned away and they would not have responded. The hallmark of our faith is the art of communication. The hallmark of our faith is how we can be people that can understand others. The hallmark of our faith is how we can perfect the art of empathizing with someone else. And that is why one of the most powerful things the Prophet ﷺ perfected is that anyone that would come to him, they felt like they were heard. A man came to the masjid of the Prophet ﷺ, as you all know. And he came and he urinated in the masjid. He thought this was like the Badia, right? This was like the desert. You just, wherever you go. This was the cultural norms at that time. I want you to imagine if that happens in ICSD right now. What would you do? Like every one of us would flip out, What is wrong with you? The blue new carpet, are you serious? Right? And there will be many people justifiably angry. The Prophet ﷺ, the first thing he did is leave him alone. And there's a number of wisdoms for that. One of that is if you attack the man, it'll spread all over, right? So then what he did is he took him aside and he listened to him. And he said to him, this is a place for prayer and remembrance of Allah, and there's another place for that. So the man, he said, Allahumma ghfirli wa Muhammada wa la taghfir ghayrahu ahada. Right? Oh Allah, forgive me and Muhammad, don't forgive anyone else besides him. Right? And the Prophet ﷺ, قَدْ حَجَّرْتَ وَاسِعًا. You have limited and constricted something so expansive. Look at the beautiful lesson. Simply for hearing a man who would generally be misunderstood. I've always wanted to do this, by the way, in a khutbah, is that I wanted to fake somebody coming and started screaming Islamophobic terms right in the middle of the khutbah. We're not going to do that today, so okay. And the reason for this is, what would our reaction be? Would our reaction be prophetic? Would our reaction be understanding? Say, listen, let's calm down. We'll talk right after, but I need you to just stay quiet for a little bit. Or would our reaction be to be very angry and the normative approach? The Prophet ﷺ, the thing that he did that brought people to Islam is listening to them. A man came to Rasulullah ﷺ, he said, Ya Rasulullah, I don't want to accept Islam. He said, why? He said, this 5 times prayer thing, that's not for me. That's not for me. I don't want to pray 5 times a day. So how many can you pray? He said 2. He said, accept Islam on 2 prayers. He said, accept Islam on 2 prayers. What happened? The man accepted Islam. He started praying 2 times a day. Eventually, he prayed 5 times. Meaning what? The Prophet ﷺ had this art of looking beyond the body in front of you and looking at the soul. And understanding this idea that if you empathize with the person in front of you, you don't respond to what they're saying, you're responding to what they're actually, the source of their misgrievance. And this is something I think the Muslim community in general, we're starting to lack. And this is the reactionary kind of rhetoric that you see in normative society. We need to go back to the prophetic art of listening and empathizing with people. A lot of the discourse that you see among Muslims is this disagreement among one another. We're not listening to each other. We're not empathizing with one another. We're not looking at the bigger picture that the Prophet ﷺ taught. And this is an amazing approach that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even mentioned in the Quran. That the first step in empathizing with somebody and listening to them is don't respond and be reactionary. Rather, accept the grievance they may have. They may have a point. They may have a genuine grievance that you're being reactionary to. And if you do that, what will happen? وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانْفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ. That if you were somebody who were harsh-hearted, oh Muhammad ﷺ, and you were somebody who did not give a chance, and غَلِيظ الْقَلْبِ here refers to the idea that your heart can't empathize with somebody else. They would have turned and ran away from you. So what is the Prophet ﷺ commanded to do? Sit and listen to the one, even the one that you think that may not have a point. The one the Prophet ﷺ was even disciplined in the Quran. عَبَسَ وَتَوَلَّى أَنْ جَاءَهُ الْأَعْمَى. That his face became, changed. And he turned. And when the blind man came, the Prophet ﷺ was trying to turn towards the audience of the elite and have them listen. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted the audience of the one whose heart wanted to come to Islam. This is among the things that the Prophet ﷺ was taught. And even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions about those who heard faith and they accepted it based on the art of understanding how to listen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says even about the jinn, that they perfected this and they accepted Islam. وَاسْتَمِعْ when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about the jinn, when they heard the Quran, and they said that we have heard Quran and ajaba, this beautiful faith that has touched our hearts, and they came and accepted Islam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about those who on the day of judgment, the first sign that they will see is not Jannah itself. They will hear Jannah. They will hear Jannah and they will hear a person calling about Jannah. وَاسْتَمِعْ يَوْمَ يُنَادِ الْمُنَادِ مِنْ مَكَانٍ قَرِيبٍ يَوْمَ يَسْمَعُونَ الصَّيْحَةَ بِالْحَقِّ ذَلِكَ يَوْمُ الْخُرُوجِ. the first step in the Day of Judgment and before going to Jannah is they will hear out when the caller makes a call, they will listen to them. This hearing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to give us the idea that this aspect of hearing is even going to be tested in the Day of Judgment. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the believers, where they say, سَمِعْنَا مُنَادِيًا يُنَادِي لِلْإِيمَانِ فَآمَنَّا بِهِ. That the believers say, we heard the caller. That's why the Prophet ﷺ, among his descriptions is munadi al-haq, the one who called to the truth, and we heard and we obeyed and we listened. Allah says, those who heard this caller called to Islam and they accepted. Among the things that the Prophet ﷺ taught in terms of the art of listening is never responding to someone that may antagonize you. They may be saying something about you which is completely wrong. They may be attacking your personality. They may be attacking your worth. They may be attacking your point of view, misunderstanding, misappropriating everything that you say. And this is in the example of when Al-Walid ibn al-Mughira came to the Prophet ﷺ, and he said, "O Muhammad ﷺ, we ask you by the right of family ties and tribal relationships that we have, that you give up this faith. If you want money, we will make you the rich of us. If you want women, we'll give you a choice, not just one. Whoever you want to marry, the most beautiful of every tribe, and we'll make you the richest of us. Know that we are not fools. So don't try to enforce your views on us. You talk ill of our gods and our forefathers. And now we want you to give up what you have." So what did the Prophet ﷺ says? He said, "Are you done, Abu al-Walid?" He said, "Are you done?" How many of you would, if you're engaging with somebody that's belligerent, sit there for 20 minutes and listen to their entire speech? Literally, someone's like the biggest Islamophobic hater in the planet, you would sit there and you would listen to them. That's not what we're taught. That's not what the society teaches us. What does the society teach us? Attack and social, you have to represent. No, the Prophet ﷺ taught us, listen, empathize with people's grievances. Even they may be the most belligerent and ignorant, just listen. Show them through your character what Islam teaches. And when he was done, he said, "Now listen to me." He said, "Are you done?" He said, "Yes." He said, "Now listen to me." And he read to him the beginning of Surah Fussilat, 14 ayat, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the Day of Judgment and the meaning of life and the purpose of existence. And the fact that, listen, it's not about the money. It's not about the material gain that you're trying to give me. But rather, it's beyond any of this. And this opened the eyes of Abu al-Walid, and he told him, that's enough. His heart changed. He went back to the people who were trying to bargain with Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and he said to them, we went to a man who wouldn't give up his faith, even if you put the moon on his right hand and the sun in his left. And they said, what happened to Walid? He came with a different face than he went with. Why? Simply because the Prophet ﷺ listened. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those يستمعون القول فاتبعون أحسنه صلى الله عليه نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين قولوا قولي هذا استغفر الله لكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. The Prophet ﷺ also taught us something very beautiful, because oftentimes when we talk about the art of listening, the first thing that comes to your mind is what? Listening to others. And all of the verses that we may have repeated, you thinking that it deals with others. One of the most powerful thing about the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that they are firstly directed to us and the closest of your kin. And the closest of your kin. One time the Prophet ﷺ got in a disagreement with his wives, and Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha became extremely upset that one of his other wives brought him a dish that he liked when the Prophet ﷺ was visiting Aisha. And you're like, whoa, that's crazy, right? Well, she would get upset, and she has valid reason in some sense to get upset. So what happened? While the dish was being delivered, Aisha radiallahu anha comes and hits the dish, and like it breaks to pieces, falls on the floor. And this is while the Prophet ﷺ had guests. This is while Rasulullah ﷺ had guests. What do you think the Prophet ﷺ did? What would you do? A'udhu billah, I can't believe I married the person like you, and like a fight would erupt and all kinds of, you don't know. Some people, subhanAllah, they can't control their anger. What did the Prophet ﷺ do? Alayhi salatu wasalam. He got up, he smiled, and he said, Gharat ummukum. Your mother got jealous. And he went and picked up the pieces, cleaned up the mess, and he went about his life. Later on, he listened to her. He said, what is it that caused you to do this, Aisha? And she said, how dare somebody bring you a dish while I'm cooking for you? And the Prophet ﷺ understood that. And he went and spoke to his wives, please don't do that again. It upset Aisha radiallahu anha, and it's not appropriate. This art is very simply summarized is don't respond to the person. Don't respond to the person. Oftentimes among marital disputes, you know what the biggest problem is? The husband thinks that he's in a stadium, Gladiator. You watched the movie Gladiator? Right? And there's like, he's fighting, and there's a whole crowd, and they go a thumbs up if he's winning or thumbs down. This is what the husband thinks. And the wife the same. And you think you're in a stadium defending what? Not yourself, your egos. And shaitan is having a field day, mashallah, tabarakallah, right? And this is the biggest problem. That two people, all they're doing is responding to their, and this is, it's never ending. Somebody has to have the last word. What did Rasulullah ﷺ teach? Shut up. Stay quiet. The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever gives up an argument, even if they're right, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give him the highest level of Jannah. This is first and foremost with your own family before it is with others. You don't need to respond. This is the worst thing you can do. Responding at a time of anger only leads to disagreements. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam also, when it came to teaching us the art of listening, is when you hear somebody's grievances, don't feel personally attacked. When someone says to you, for example, I'm Afghan, all Afghans are angry all the time. What do you feel like? I feel like I'm being personally attacked, right? Don't feel that way. Maybe they have a genuine grievance with a disagreement they had with somebody, and you listen to them attentively and you respond to them. So when we feel personally attacked, there's a problem. That means that maybe that characteristic is within you. And then Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us never to respond to people's ignorant statements in such a way. Don't take it personally. And lastly, Nabi alayhi salatu wasallam would redirect people's energy when they would speak of an evil that happened to them. For example, Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he even taught us this. He said that I loved my mother and I loved the Prophet ﷺ. I brought her to Medina and I would tell her about the Rasul ﷺ. One day she couldn't handle it anymore because she was not Muslim, and she cursed the Prophet in front of me. So what did Abu Hurairah do? He said it was so painful I had to leave. So Abu Hurairah was already teaching us a lesson. First of all, don't speak back to your parents in a negative way. Don't speak back to people of an elder age who took care of you in a negative way. Allah even says, وَإِن جَاهَدَاكَ, that if they fight and struggle with you for you to commit shirk, disbelief in Allah, treat صاحبهما في الدنيا معروفة. Treat and have companionship with them in this world in the best way. Be their companion even if they're trying to struggle against you. Obviously, abuse and all that is different. We're not talking about that. The idea being is that in Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he went to the Prophet ﷺ, he taught this empathetically. And what did the Prophet ﷺ do? He simply listened to him. He listened to him. While Abu Hurairah poured his heart out and the anger and the pain that he had, while he's crying that Ya Rasulullah, I'm trying to tell my mother about Islam, and she's the one that's attacking you and speaking evil of you. What did the Prophet ﷺ do? He just made dua. Not every grievance someone has needs a solution from you. Husbands, please listen to this. When your wife comes to you and is grieving to you about how your mother treated her, how your sister treated her, how whoever treated her, she doesn't want a solution from you. She just wants you to listen. What do? We say your feelings are wrong. You know this is wrong. You cannot tell somebody your feelings are wrong. There's no fatwa on feelings, and that's not appropriate. Is that understood? The Prophet ﷺ in this situation, he didn't respond saying, oh, that woman, she's wrong for cursing. He didn't even say that. He simply listened to Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Now, what did he do? He made dua. He said, Allahumma hadi Abu Hurairah. When he went back home, his mother was like, don't even enter the house. Stay outside until I tell you. And that's what Abu Hurairah did. He stayed outside. Then she said, come in. When he walked in, she said, I was taking a shower. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, I accept Islam. And then Abu Hurairah took her to the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, Ya Rasulullah, my mother accepted Islam. So the Prophet ﷺ smiled and he made another dua. He said, Allahumma habib ubaydaka hadha wa ummahu. Oh Allah, love this servant of yours and his mother. And Abu Hurairah said, there's not a person that heard about me except that they loved me and they loved my mother. Oh Allah, we love Abu Hurairah and his mother. And this is among the signs that a person is actually struggling against themselves to perfect the character that Islam teaches us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about those on the day of judgment who don't listen and did not obey and did not take into consideration these etiquettes. من الذين هادوا يحرفون الكلمة مواضعه يقولون سمعنا وعصينا واسمع غير مسمع وراعنا ليا بألسنتهم وطعنا في الدين ولو أنهم قالوا سمعنا وأطعنا واسمع وانظرنا لكان خيرا لهم وأقوم ولكن لعنهم الله بكفرهم فلا يؤمنون إلا قليلا. Some of those who came before us, they distorted the meaning of the words that were given to them. And they said, we hear and we disobey. We're not going to pay attention. We're not going to rectify ourselves, this character that the Prophet ﷺ is teaching us. But rather, if they listened and they listened and they said, may you not hear. And they said, look at us. We're not going to be of those who pay attention. But rather, if they said, we hear and we obey, and they listened and they paid attention to these kind of etiquettes and character the Prophet ﷺ taught them, that would have been better for them and more proper for them. But Allah has made them of those who are defiant and they believe very little. Why? Why? Because they hear constantly the call to perfect character and they don't. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those that attentively hear and we obey so that we perfect our souls and our characters. Inshallah ta'ala, among the announcements is that tonight there will be a lecture after Maghrib. Tomorrow on Saturday the 22nd, Masjid Taqwa invites you to its 70th anniversary gala taking place at the 4 Point Sheraton Hotel. There's a ticket sales in the office. The ICA, the Association for Youth and Community Advancement, celebrates grad scholarship reception on July 14th. Please check the flyer for more details if you want your kids to participate. And the ICA also just started the SAT class at the ISC-SD. For enrollment, there's more info on the poster outside. Rashid School program, summer program at ICSD is from July 8th to July 31st. And registration starts on July 6th. It's from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and there's more information on the flyer outside. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا يا رب العالمين. اللهم اعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم اعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم اجعلنا هاديين مهديين صالحين مصلحين. اللهم ارزقنا أحسن الأخلاق يا رب العالمين. لا يهدينا إلى أحسن الأخلاق إلا أنت. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من سيء الأخلاق لا يهدي إلى تصليح النيات إلا أنت يا رب العالمين. اللهم اغفر لنا جميعا يا رب العالمين واغفر لنا وارحم موتانا واشف مرضانا وتب علينا يا أكرم الأكرمين. اللهم أعز الذين يعزون دينك يا رب العالمين. اللهم اكفي أن شر الأشرار وكيد الفجار يا رب العالمين. اللهم اصلح الأحوال المسلمين في كل مكان. اللهم كن مع إخواننا في السودان يا رب العالمين. اللهم ارحمهم يا رب العالمين واشف مرضاهم وداوي جرحاهم. اللهم كن معهم ولا تكن عليهم. اللهم ولي عليهم خيارهم يا رب العالمين. اللهم أصلح الأحوال في اليمن وفي مصر وفي فلسطين. اللهم حرر المسجد الأقصى من رجس الكائدين والصهاينة المحتلين يا رب العالمين. اللهم ارزقنا الصلاة في المسجد الأقصى يا رب العالمين. اللهم حرر إخواننا في فلسطين وفي سوريا وفي كل مكان يا رب العالمين. واصلح أحوال المسلمين في أفغانستان وفي بورما وفي كشمير وفي كل مكان. وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وارزقنا مرافقة حبيبنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم في أعلى جنة العليين. وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Just another reminder that we are going to pray Salat al-Janazah right after Salat al-Jumu'ah on 3 individuals, also including Salat al-Janazah al-Ghaib. on Dr. Mursi, Muhammad Mursi rahmatullahi alayhi. So we will pray on them all right after Salat al-Jumu'ah inshallah.
So اعتدلوا وقيموا صفوفكم ولا تختلفوا. Straighten your lines, don't leave any gaps between you. Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, we're going to have Salat al-Janazah. So can we bring the lady first and then the two men, inshallah. And also, please don't pray Salat al-Sunnah on this side. ما تصلوا صلاة السنة لأنه we need space to bring the bodies. جزاكم الله خير. can you make space on this way? Barakallahu fikum. And again, on your behalf, I would like to thank our dear brother Sheikh Hasib for this reminder when it comes to the art of listening and communicating with one another. Also, Sheikh Hasib will be giving the lecture tonight after Salat al-Maghrib, so please join us. So we're going to pray Salat al-Janaza on one lady and two men. The lady is going to be buried today at 3, and the two men are going to be buried either, can you bring her this way? Yes. Monday or Tuesday, inshallah. We need a lot of space here. Yeah. Jazakumullah khair. I'm sorry for that. And also we're going to pray Salat Janazat al-Ghaib on Dr. Muhammad Mursi, rahimahullah, who passed away last Monday in Egypt in the court after being in the prison unjustly for the last 6 years. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them rahmah together. No. Take it over there. Yeah. And then the other one will be here. Yeah. Would you straighten the line, please? Can you back a little bit, because I mean you don't have to have a lot of space because there is no sujood and ruku'. So, can you cover both of them with the same cover? Jazakumullah khair. Salat al-Janaza consists of 4 takbirat. After the first takbirah, we recite al-Fatiha. After the second takbirah, we recite Salat al-Ibrahimiyya. After the third takbirah, we make dua for all of the deceased people, for their families, for all of us. And after the fourth takbirah, we make sujood on the right, inshallah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahumma salli alayhi. Allahu Akbar. Allahumma ighfir lahum warhamhum. Allahumma ighfir lahum warhamhum. Allahumma اللهم اغسلهم بالماء والثلج والبرد. اللهم اللهم ارزقهم الجنة. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Jazakumullah khair, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them rahmah and grant them al-Jannah, all of them, Ya Rabb. Ameen. Barakallahu fikum. No, just take them to the room and keep them like this. Don't put them in the fridge. Yeah. And the ladies, they're going to take her away right now. Yeah.
you.